my name is Gabby, and my Capstone project is a home alarm system. It's customizable. Once I kind of start talking about it, the name LASSIE will make a little bit more sense. So who am I? My name's Gabriella. I was in the service industry prior to taking the full stack web development bootcamp and the IoT bootcamp. I wasn't forced out of the service industry. I've been meaning to get out of it, but the pandemic kind of gave me that extra push to fully get out of there. And I just realized I wasn't sharing my face. There we go. Hello. So I am really into learning and building things. I built my gaming PC. I build all the furniture that comes to our house. I like to cook and do everything. I like to learn as much as I possibly can. I hope to start a career in the tech world. It's just fascinating to me, the things that we can build and discover and create from technology. It's amazing. Okay, so the alarm, it's a customizable home alarm system. It consists of a main unit and a second unit that is kind of like mobile. You can take it with you room to room, which is just a button. And being somebody who lives by themselves and has lived by themselves. I'm not at the moment, but I feel like that extra sense of security, just being able to have something with you if you feel unsafe, or if you hear something you're not too sure of what it is and you kind of don't want to go and investigate on your own, you can kind of just push a button and somebody's coming to your house. There's also, you have the ability to have it on your phone or on your PC, so a little bit more access to it. So I have possible add-ons. This is, it essentially is the main device, and it would live in like your living room or something. And this add-on is specifically for people who suffer from depression or anxiety and have service animals. And it's kind of like sending that first text message or making that phone call when you're kind of in a bad situation mentally, or if you're having like a meltdown or something, is hard. But you can, if your service animal notices that you're kind of going through a situation, they can make that decision for you and take that away from you. And so it's 2 buttons, and one button would call 911, and the second button would call a family member. And so what makes up the devices? So the Teensy 3.2, it's the power in the brains. I had to use 2 main devices. So I had to use the Teensy, and I also had to use the Argon because they were talking to each other. The Wemos, smart plugs, you can plug different devices into them and they're controlled through the device. Ethernet to make some phone calls. The BME, that just displays the messages for you. Ultrasonic Ranger, so I do have a motion detection on it. And I put that on there for the add-on device. Essentially, if you set it for like 72 hours or something and it detects that there is no motion in the house, it'll automatically send a phone call. The Hue smart bulbs, so those will go off when a button is pushed. You'll see that in the video. And then buttons. Here's some pictures of just building the device. I made maybe 3 different wood boxes. Getting the dimensions just right was kind of hard. But I got it there. I figured it out, and I think it came out pretty well. So again, I did use 2 different devices for creating the code, the Teensy and the Argon particle. Here's just a snippet of each of those codes. Since I was using 2 different devices, I used Arduino with the Teensy, and I used VS Code for the Argon. And then here is my video. So this is the portable device that I am pushing, and you can see a light up on the other device. So that's sending the message that a phone call needs to be made. And then you can see the motion sensor, see the fan going off in the background. And then this is calling 911. There's also a temp on it that just stays on that main screen, tells you what temperature it is in the room. And then you can see those lights kind of turn an orange. Sometimes they'll be like a light red. It changes. It's kind of fun. And then that's calling family member. And then for the family member, the lights would change purple, bluish colors, all like gentle and kind of calming. And then if you were to use your PC, this is kind of just a visual of a button on your screen, and it shows the information is going through. And there's my Hackster. Thanks for watching. Some challenges that I had was figuring out the logic for two devices to talk to each other. Was kind of, it was a lot for me. I enjoyed it. It kind of forced my brain to think in a different way, but kind of understanding that I need to put this specific code if I want that to happen on this device, and so on. Dealing with imposter syndrome, I feel like that's just something that I deal with when I hit a wall. And then I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But I've been getting over it a lot quicker. You know, we learn so much in a small amount of time that it's kind of hard to fully grasp the amount that's happening to you. And then building the device was a challenge. I used acrylic for the main box and then wood for the second to kind of just figure out laser printing. I'm a pro at laser printing now, so if anybody needs that help. And creating the housing unit, I totally spaced on just the wiring besides the USB and the Ethernet. So putting everything in there and having that extra like 2 millimeters for the wires to properly fit in there, I couldn't quite get the lid to snap down on it as I would have liked. Moving forward, I would like to code the buttons in the Ethernet to actually make those calls. For obvious reasons, I didn't go that super extra stretch because I would have just been making calls to 911 as I was experimenting with things. But I would like to move forward on that. Getting the motion sensor, just setting a proper amount of, time. Like if nobody's in that room or if it doesn't sense movement, I'd like it to actually send that message. Adding Bluetooth and making all of the devices cordless is definitely top of the list. And I would just like to become more comfortable with designing the housing units and getting more comfortable with measurements and understanding everything. Here's all of my info. And then, so the reason I call it LASSIE is because the service dog helping you out, essentially it's like the old TV show LASSIE is getting that message out there, trying to help you and save you.